What's up? What's up? Hi, everyone. This is APO Sports, and we're gonna do a live stream today. Pretty much talking about the 2024 Indiana Fever season. Um, but first of all, happy Friday. Hope everyone has a good weekend and has had a good start to the weekend. It's Saturday morning over here, as you can see. It's super bright outside here in Okinawa, Japan. Yeah, I mean, I'm upset that we're having to do this. I am actually mad as hell the fact that we don't have Indiana Fever basketball until next year. I can't even believe that I'm actually saying that. Um, really hoping that at least we would get a do or die game in Indiana. That would have been cool. That would have been awesome, especially for the fans. So that is something that that's something that the WNBA is going to have to look at. It's going to have to look into changing that playoff format because it's just weird. I've never seen anything like that. And that's the thing, too, before we get into everything with the WNBA and with the Indiana Fever season. There's just so many different weird stuff with the WNBA that I just never seen. And especially following the NBA for as long as I have, I don't know why they don't have the NBA as a blueprint. I understand that the NBA brings certain revenue that allows you to extend these series to more games, right? But in the WNBA, putting on playoff basketball and that quality of a network and quality product takes a lot of money that they don't create or money that they don't generate. So I understand why they have to limit these games to, a best of 3, and before it used to be just a one single elimination game. But if you're gonna have a best of 3, doesn't it make sense that you have a home game, an away game, and a home game? I don't know why it would be 2 home games and then the deciding game, especially if the higher seed has a deciding game on the road. That just seems backwards and kind of crazy to me. But that's what we have. I don't know if things would have changed, but I think it would have definitely changed a little bit for the Connecticut Sun team. Because, I mean, playing at the Mohegan Sun, I get it, but isn't that stadium limited to what, 10,000 people? Less than 10,000 people? It's not the same when you have 10,000 fans versus 17,000 plus fans. Just going crazy for particular players, right? So I think playing at the Mohegan Sun, of course, benefited Connecticut, in my opinion, because it limited a little bit the crowd, and the crowd was kind of divided too. But it's just a weird format, and I don't like it. But anyways, what we're gonna do, we're gonna recap. So what I really want to do, I'm gonna play some chess as we go through these discussions. I'm probably gonna get owned in these chess games because I tend not to do really well multitasking. But we'll try. We have chats and conversations. It should be fun. I like the strategy as both as going over analyzing the season and the players and looking from the the human aspect and emotional intelligence and everything like that, and then combining that with the strategy of playing chess. I just think it's a cool and fun combination. So hopefully you enjoy and you like chess. And if you want to play me, just let me know. I play on leechess.org, so I don't know if you guys have leechess.org, but that's kind of where I play. But we'll do that a little bit. And I want to get into these exit interviews. So the first thing that we're going to do is kind of go over some of the exit interviews from the Fever from, I guess it happened. And again, to me, it's yesterday because I'm in Japan and it's Saturday over here already. But I know for you guys, those exit interviews happen maybe in the afternoon or in the morning stateside. So we're going to go over those. Some interesting information that was coming from those as well. And then after that, we'll go into analyzing each and every player, and I'll just provide my thoughts as to what I think about the season that they had and whether or not the Fever should be making them a priority. I've previously highlighted that there's only 3 players that I believe that the Fever should really worry about and that should continue to make a priority. Outside of those 3, in my opinion, everybody else is replaceable. Not to mean that they shouldn't re-sign them, but I see fans freaking out over potentially losing out on Kelsey Mitchell. And while she provided a lot of value during the season, and we'll get into Kelsey Mitchell in a little bit, but this is just a preview of my thoughts. While she provided a lot of value during the season, which can't be disputed and can't be denied, I just don't feel like she's that much of a priority where fans need to concern themselves with Kelsey Mitchell. Like, say the Fever lose Kelsey Mitchell and they bring in someone like Gabby Williams. I don't know. I mean, these are just the different things that are considered. Gabby Williams is also a free agent. Does she have any interest in playing for the Fever? I don't know. She has interest in getting paid more, and of course, playing for the Fever would expand her visibility and maybe get some endorsements and stuff like that. So I think, if anything, it would benefit some of these players to play for the Fever if they want to get paid more, if they want to be on the spotlight. But anyways, let's check out some of these exit interviews. We're going to start, of course, with Caitlin Clark and kind of see a little bit of her thoughts, and we'll break it down question by question. So this might be a while, so sit down, and if you want to kind of look at this and explore it, then join me in this. It should be pretty cool. So let's do this. All right.
Hey, Kaylin, what value do you feel like you and this team got out of the playoff experience, and what did it to you reveal that you guys need in the future?
Yeah. Like we talked about in our locker room after the game ended, where obviously people were pretty disappointed in the outcome. I think it gave us a taste of where we wanted to be. At the same time, I felt like we could have done a little bit more to help it get back here for a game 3, and that's what really kind of stunk about the whole thing. But I thought it gave us a taste of where we wanted to be, and that's exactly the message that Chrissy iterated throughout the locker room, and that our coaches kind of iterated when they talked, is just that, you have to let this kind of burn inside of you and let it kind of bother you in a way that it's going to drive you through the off season. How's it going to make you work? You got a taste of getting to the playoffs. Obviously, we haven't been there since 2016. So I think that's what the message was for us, is like, hey, great, we got the 6th seed. Our goal was to get back to the playoffs, but we probably could have given ourselves a little bit better of a chance to try to get it to a game 3 to give our fans an opportunity to cheer us on here at home. And that's kind of what stunk about it. But next year we're wanting to be a top 4 seed. We believe we can build this place into a championship contender. That's what I believe. That's what I'm going to do everything in my power to help this organization get there. But you got to let it, hurt you a little bit and really drive you throughout the offseason.
Good.
Yeah, and that's a really awesome perspective from Caitlin Clark. And the thing, as we listen to her in these media engagements and media press sessions, it's just so impressive. Like, I do not think at all that I am listening to a 22-year-old at all whatsoever. This is someone who is so polished in this realm. I don't know what her degree, what she has her, when she went to school for. I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something communication. It may not be, but she is so polished with the media. But anyway, she speaks the truth, right? Like, you learn and you get more passion about the work that you put in during the off season when you go through these type of struggles, when you go through these, disappointment endings to a season. There is no super successful athlete or professional that hasn't gone through this, right? Like, Michael Jordan went through it. LeBron James went through it, and they went through it for a long period of time. We're already placed in so many expectations on Caitlin Clark year 1, and because she has exceeded all of them. So the more she exceeds expectations, the more we continue to pile on top of her as far as the things that she needs to do and that we expect her to do. this is just what it happens with great athletes, right? So, I mean, coming into the league, sweeping it by storm, being first team all WNBA, that is crazy, and then fourth in MVP voting, that is crazy. So, just so many accomplishments and so many expectations, and she handled it everything well. So yeah, this is the right perspective. You gotta let it burn, you gotta let it hurt you, and then you use that as fuel and motivation to get better during the off season, figure things out, and come back stronger, right? So are they gonna win the title next year? Who knows, right? But they're probably gonna be a higher seed, and they're probably gonna get at least to the second round, and maybe even to the finals.
Go down the line, James and Chloe.
Caitlin, when your head coach came out with a statement today saying she denounces all the racism that some people have felt in this league, players, trolls online, all those things, as one of the biggest stars in this league, what are your thoughts on the things not only your teammates have to endure, but just the entire league? And obviously, you spoke on this before, but just now that your coach and your GM are talking about it as well.
Yeah, it's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans, those are trolls, and it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, the WNBA. But there are a lot of really good fans, whether they've been fans for 20 plus years or whether they're new fans in our league. I think continuing to uplift this league in a very positive light is the best thing that we can do, because there are so many great players, there's so many great teams, there are so many positive storylines that can be written and celebrated. And for me, that's why I became a fan of this league, is these people were my idols. I grew up wanting to be like them. So I think continuing to uplift and represent this league in a positive way is the best thing that we can do.
No, Chloe, then Chris.
Yeah, and to me, this has been this whole racial thing and social media thing and fans thing has been so widely overblown. And the more attention that you give to it, the more that you talk about it, the more that it's going to continue to be a problem. The more you get consumed by it, the best thing to do is to ignore it, really, because what difference does it make? Why does it matter? So it's just people on social media that get heated about the things that they see, and they take it personal, and then they overblow it because they have they have a platform, so they retweet it and fight it and look at the look at the threats that I've received, and look at the treatment that I get online for posting anything. I deserve better treatment like this. And the fact is, we don't control what people do or say on social media. We just don't. And we can't restrict people based on how respectful or what opinions they're going to have. And this has been the case, this always has been the case. So you have to be able to navigate through it without letting it affect you too much. But of course, they utilize it. I think everyone uses what they can to push a certain opinion or a certain agenda, or to establish a certain victim status. Look at me, this is only happening to me. This is the same as, it's same in life, right? There are people who will be more vocal about the things that they're going through. But people that do that are super vocal about the things that they're going through, dismiss the things that people around you are also going through. There was this crazy statistic, because I used to be a resiliency instructor in the military. There was the crazy statistics that 3 out of the 4 people that you meet are currently dealing with a major life situation. A major life situation. 3 out of the 4 people that you meet. But not everyone is going to tell you about what's going on in their life, in their private life, within their family, the struggles that they may be going through. But again, these other people that may be going through something less impactful than that will tell you all about it, and they'll put you in a situation to have to care for them, to try to help them out, when in fact the other person actually doing the helping and doing the coddling is the one who needs the support. And I feel like this is exactly what's happening here with Caitlin Clark, where we don't know what she's going through. She's just not vocal about it, right? She's not vocalizing it. She's not choosing to be the victim. So since she's not being vocal about it, then everyone just assumes that life is perfect, that life is great for Kalen Clark. And I don't think that can be any further than the truth. So, it's really, that's why, like, to me, in my person, I try not to highlight things that may be going in my life or whatever, because that I know that there are people out there that are going through a lot worse, and me highlighting this is a little bit insulting to the other people around me. And this is just recognition that we're all human beings and we're all going through stuff, and we just have to get through it together, supporting each other, try to be kind to the people that you meet, because you never know what people are going through. So in everything that I do, I try to be kind, I try to be professional, I try to be respectful, because again, we're humans, and we go through stuff. But giving life to these comments and to these people on social media, whatever they say, whether it bothers you or not, it's actually hurting these players, it's hurting the league, and it's creating a narrative that is really exhausting at this point. And it is what it is. The internet is going to be what it is. Social media is going to be what it is. There's no fixing it. And to say, okay, well, these and that's what happens, right? Everybody's blaming Kalen Clark's fans. This is a Kalen Clark problem. Everyone, I mean, from the most prominent players to the coaches, it just seems like the entire WNBA universe is unanimously blaming this issue on, well, they say Fever fans, but I mean, it's Kalen Clark fans. And that's also kind of like insulting when all these people are bringing all this attention that you've wanted for so long. Now it's being brought, but you don't like the way in which it's being brought, so you want to attack it. And it's just silly to me. But regardless, this was an amazing answer from Kalen Clark, and she just continues to stay above the fray.
Christine.
Yeah, just with all the success you have this season, just what do you think you need to work on to take that next step going into your second year next year?
Yeah, I think, like I said after we lost, I think there's so many ways that I can continue to get better, and I feel like there were so many ways I could have been even better this year, and that's what gets you going and gets you fired up, and you want to continue to keep playing. But at the same time, that's what stinks about the season ending is I felt like we were really starting to find our groove and really play good basketball, and it feels like that's always kind of how your season ends. You feel like you're playing your best basketball, and then it has to come to an end, and it's kind of just who's playing better basketball at that time and who plays a better game. But I think for myself is just, go back and really reflect on the year that you had and all the amazing moments. But I think, just as a point guard and as a leader, there's a lot of areas that I can continue to improve. And, I'm a competitor and somebody that loves to work, so it won't be hard for me to want to get in the gym and to get even better and, get better for my teammates and really know, we're a young group. We have a lot of really talented players on this team, and, we won 20 games this year and we're the 6th seed, but I feel like there's so much more we can accomplish, and, you can always just work for that and remind yourself of that, and that's certainly what I'm going to do going into the offseason.
Yeah, she's going to be so much better next year. It's going to be scary. She's going to be so much better next year. The league is in trouble 100%. Getting one full year of rest and her ability to kind of refocus and reset and come in with a clear mindset for the next, because this is like a taste, right? This is like, oh, let me get a taste of what, okay. All right. I know what this is about. I see. Okay, you're the best team. All right, gotcha. And now you get a taste for what it is and kind of see how these teams play and come in with a fresh mind. It's going to be scary hours for the league next year, 100%. And as far as the team getting into a groove, I don't know if I agree with that one necessarily. I mean, it's evident from the last game, right? That last game looked so much different than every other game that we watched. That game 2 against the Sun, where you have the first, actual substantive change to the starting lineup, where you were sitting Melissa Smith only playing 8 minutes, which I think, it had to be that way. I think that she had to be limited in some way, but the team never really found any sort of groove. Like, there was not one time that I saw any consistency from game to game with the rotations, with the lineups, with the personnel. It seemed like every possession, anything could have happened. So the groove part, I don't think there was ever really any groove from the Fever as a team. They still have a lot of stuff to figure out. So hopefully during the offseason, they can kind of find what works best. But I'm afraid that it's not. And this is a little bit on. This is really mostly on Christie's sides, and I'm trying not to criticize Christie's sides too much either, because this is not a pointing fingers type of live stream. But the fact that the team wasn't able to find any consistency or any solid play, it's on her, right? Because it seemed to me that the players were just confused every single day as to what their role was gonna be. So hopefully that gets cleaned up, and I think if they find that, they'll be more successful. But if you look at the other side on the Connecticut Sun, they knew exactly who was going to play. They knew exactly what their roles were. Like, there was no confusion as to any of that, right? Where the Fever, you have people disgruntled because they weren't getting minutes, and you had no idea who was getting minutes. So
Go Christine, then Scott.
Caitlin, in the kind of kaleidoscope of memories that we all have of events and years, maybe 20 years from now when you're done, or 25, whatever, what do you think might stand out, positives, even maybe moments like the 2 threes in LA early on? Or for you personally, are there any that you might think of in terms of highlights, showed you belonged, a pass, anything that comes to mind now about this season and what you did in the season? Thanks.
Yeah, I think that's, there were so many moments. And every place we went was so unique, honestly. It's fun to kind of look back. Like, people always ask me, like, what's your favorite road arena? And I'm like, they're all so different and unique in their own way. And obviously for me, my first year here is like getting to travel to all these new arenas. And there was a few I'd already played at in college, but just doing it as my first time in the WNBA, like, those are moments you're going to remember within themselves. And obviously LA was special. The crowd we have there, and obviously I know it's crypto now, but like Staples Center and the Lakers, and just, the history that building has. That was my first time ever in the building, and the way we came back and got our first win, and I couldn't buy a basket all night, but then I was able to make 2 at the end, and the locker room was fun after that. I know it was our first win, but it was still special. And then honestly, playing at home in front of, these fans, in the way the young girls just, dangle.
yeah, hi Rasmic, how are you? Yeah, definitely sad on how the league is treating her. 100%. 100. Imagine coming in with all these new fans and all this hope and all this enthusiasm to do well in the league, and to not. And I'm not saying that the red carpet had to be laid. Like, hey, here's the red carpet, here's our new queen, or anything like that. That's not even what fans, or maybe what Caitlin Clark was expecting. But it managed to make everything about her in a negative connotation. Like, she's bringing in bad fans. She's bringing in all these issues and all these problems that all these girls now have to deal with. So it's a lot. It's a lot to kind of carry and to put on one person, especially someone 22-year-old coming out of college, not even having a chance to digest everything that's going on, because it's been back to back events and games. So yeah, no, 100%.
Over the side of the rails and are so happy, and people are crying, and you understand the impact that you're having on people's lives, and that's what's so cool about it for myself. But I feel like there's just so many memories you're going to remember from your rookie year. Like, your rookie year is something you're always going to cherish as you go throughout your career. I think it was a huge learning opportunity for myself. I learned a lot about myself as a basketball player, as a person, being resilient when your back's up against the wall, but also really coming into our own and really thriving. And I think, once we figured it out, it was a lot of fun.
The last 2 in the room, then we got another one.
Yeah, it's cool she mentions that Sparks game, because that Sparks game, yeah, she didn't have a really good game, but just like she said, at the end, 2 key threes that gave him the victory. And it seemed like that's what was one of the games that also kind of, I think they gave him, what was that, the first victory? I can't remember if that was their first win, but it was an important win nonetheless. And then yeah, the field house was always crazy, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. I'm not sure there's anything else. Let's see what she gets asked in this question, and then maybe we'll move on to Aaliyah Boston.
One from Howard, Scott then Matt.
Caitlin, I know you said you don't feel like a celebrity, but you lived in that spotlight really for the last year. What can you kind of describe what that feels like for you, since we can't experience that? And then also, what do you kind of expect the next several months quietly to feel like as you'll be able to just live?
Okay, this is a good one. This is an interesting question. I don't think I've heard this answer.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's like everybody's always watching your every move, no matter what you're doing. And I feel like the best thing that I've tried to live by is like to just be the same person that I am off the court, whether I'm, leaving my apartment every single day or whether I'm here sitting in front of all of you. I've tried to approach it in the same exact manner that I can and treat everybody with the same amount of respect that I can. And to try to build really good relationships with people. And obviously some days are going to be tougher than others and some days are going to be amazing. That's just life. And I would give my parents a lot of credit. I feel like I was raised in a way of like, you want to treat every single person with respect. And I feel like I have a very good feel on, basketball isn't my everything. And that's the way I was raised. Basketball was something I absolutely loved to do, but there was a lot of other things I had to have done in my life, whether it was school, whether it was, emptying the dishwasher or taking out the trash. I had chores, it stunk. And I think there was just things that.
And I think, this is, it's hard to even put into words, but this is why, people ask, why do you like Caitlin Clark? Or why are you such a fan of Caitlin Clark? And this answer, like, right here is part of that, right? It has nothing to do with her race. It has nothing to do with her being white. It has nothing to do with all these privilege or all these things that they try to simplify it to minimize the impact that she has. But this answer is incredible. This is such a mature individual. Like, it took me over 30 years of my life to kind of get and to have this type of perspective, and for her to have it this early on at this stage, it's just amazing. And this is something that I preach too. So I said, I've spent a lot of time in the military, and one of the things that I've always told everyone, and we have the rank structure where you have enlisted and you have E1s and then you have O10s, which are the generals. And I told everybody that was going up through the ranks, I told them, don't lose sight of who you are and don't lose sight of that humility that is an integral part of leadership and integrity, right? And then treat an E1 who's coming straight out of basic training the same way that you would treat a 4-star general. Like, there should be nothing that you say to this E1 person that you should not be able to say to that 4-star general person. It should really be the same. So this is incredible perspective to have. I think this is what makes her, this is why so many people connect with her game, with her person, with her brand. But people don't see it. So people that fail to realize the impact of Caitlin Clark, they just don't understand these incredible things that she says and the incredible perspective that she has.
My parents really invested in making sure that I was a good person before, basketball or sports. And I've just tried to live in that same exact manner, as like, just be a good human. And I think that's what I've tried to, show everybody as well, is like, I try to be the best human I can every day. I try to give people time if I have it. And it can be hard because there are moments where you don't always want to like pose for a picture. You just want to go and get your sandwich and eat your lunch. And but I feel very thankful. I wouldn't change anything for the world. I feel very thankful for the relationships I built, the opportunities that I've had, the way people have supported me, and whether it was at Iowa or whether it's now in the WNBA, they have really, supported me and loved watching me play basketball and watching my teams play basketball. So I think it'll definitely be a little bit of an adjustment period for myself, not really, having to do that so much. I woke up yesterday, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to really do. So it's going to be nice, though. I think getting out of the spotlight and just getting to live my life and do things that I want to do, and, not have to sit and I love talking to all of you, but it's going to be nice to not have to sit in front of a microphone, multiple times a week. I really appreciate all of you, but it will be nice to kind of get away and relax for a little bit. And I appreciate everything you all do as well, so I thank you.
The last one in the room, Matt, then.
That is insane, man. I just can't help it but laugh to be a fan. And this is someone I'm going to support. And it's easy, right? When you see the person, because we can be fans of different people who do a lot of dumb shit, and then we're put in situations where we have to defend them. We're like, how the hell do we defend this, right? But Caitlin Clark is such an easy person to root for, to be a fan of. And you can be a fan freely, knowing that she's not going to do anything nuts. She's not going to put us as fans in a position to defend some craziness or something that they shouldn't do or they shouldn't have said. Because fandom sometimes is blind. You defend your team no matter what. You defend your person no matter what. Even if they're going out there doing atrocious things, like this whole thing with some of these other personalities, whether they're celebrities or whatever, they put you in crazy situations. Caitlin Clark will never do that, I don't think. I mean, especially with this is core to the core of who she is, right? And I'm not saying that she'll never say anything wrong, but I mean, with this perspective, I highly doubt it.
I think we got the Zoom situation figured out. We'll go to Howard.
Yeah, hi, Caitlin. Even though it's only been a few days for you to start reflecting on your rookie season, was just curious what you think, in hindsight, what got you through the 1-8, debut, welcome to the league, only 20 days in?
Yeah, well, our schedule wasn't the friendliest to start, so it was a tough swing. We had a West Coast trip there early to start. And to be honest, there was a few games I felt we could have definitely won within that stretch as well. And that's what kind of bugged me the most. But I remember saying, I think maybe after game 4, maybe game 5 is these lessons are really going to pay off for us in the end when we get down the stretch. And I think they certainly did. I think those were moments where we really built confidence. We got, we were in situations that were tough. We became more resilient. It didn't always go our way, but it helped us become more resilient in the end. And I think, like I've said, I really admire this group, whether it was the coaching staff or whether it was my teammates. Every single day they showed up with a positive attitude. They showed up with the same exact energy. They just wanted to get better. They wanted to help us find a way to win. But they wanted to do it in the right way. And those are the people that you want to be around every single day. So I feel very lucky to have coaches that gave so much, not only to myself, but also to my teammates, and teammates that, not only pushed me to be better, but were also a shoulder to lean on when things were tough. And they made all that a lot easier for myself.
And this is an important comment because it speaks volumes to, not volumes, but it speaks in a positive way of the coaching staff. And I know that the coaching staff has gotten a lot of heat, and I've provided a little bit of that heat, right? When I get frustrated about the rotations and the lineups and everything like that. And to an extent, some of the lack of integrity issues, when you see maybe Christy Size, who gets to the podium and at times failed to take responsibility for her own learning curve, her own mistakes and everything like that. So those things, but then what she says behind the scenes is that it seems like the coaching staff was really getting after doing the right things and, really supporting the players in a way that we don't really see, just creating a positive environment, a good culture, and a healthy climate. That is super important to have. And you saw that in this team. And I mean, contrast what was the Fever locker room to the Chicago Sky locker room. And I don't think you can compare it. Every time that you saw a lot of these favorite players, they seem to be, they seem to have fun. Whenever they had outings, they had fun together. So they did things together. It's not like anyone had their own thing on the side. Like, they really were connected, doing things as a team. And they seemed genuinely happy to be around each other. And I don't know if I saw any other team that connected. And of course, I wasn't following other teams. I only was following the Fever. But whenever I saw that, that wasn't the case. But that is a testament to the coaching staff and to the leadership of the Fever to create, at the very least, we can say, from the outside looking in, that it was a positive culture, a positive environment, and and she brings that out here. And I don't think she will lie about something like that. And she's not praising the basketball competence, right? She's praising the environment that they created, and that is as important as well.
All right, last one. I think we got the Zoom figured out. Howard, do you want to go ahead? Yep.
Oh man, I can't really hear what the question is, but what we're gonna do, I just want to go. I'm not gonna do all of them. I thought I was gonna do all of them. I'm only gonna do Boston and then the Mitchell and Wheeler ones. Let's see, because I don't think we. Oh, Nalissa Smith is an interesting one. Katie Lou and Nalissa Smith. Okay, let's do Boston real quick. Yeah, I think we gotta do Katie Lou and Alyssa Smith. They have some interesting things to say for sure.
The progress
Let's see. Okay. All right, here's Aaliyah Boston. Let's check out a little bit of what she has to say.
I've made would definitely be just continuing to make the right reads, especially at the short roll. Like, I feel like that was something that my rookie season I didn't play through as much, was that short roll. But going into next year, I think I have a better idea of, one, how we like to play, the pace we like to play at, exactly how defenders guard Caitlin, how they guard Kelsey, and stuff like that, and just understanding like what my position is going to be and just making sure that I'm able to dominate in all of it.
Go James then.
Ali, I know you talked about this before, but dealing with a lot of scrutiny, noise, whatever, how proud are you of yourself for how you came through this season and obviously growing into the next one?
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I feel like, especially to start the season, there was a lot of conversation, a lot of chatter about me personally, about my play, about this team. And I feel like for me, the biggest thing was ignoring all the hate in a sense, because I knew what our goal was here at the Fever, what our focus was. And so for me, it's about keeping my priorities the same, which is coming in, making sure I put in the work, making sure we win some games and continue to grow the franchise.
Go Matt, then we go Chloe.
Yeah, so I didn't catch a lot of those things that she talks about, as far as at the beginning of the season, for all the comments and what social media was saying about her. I think I missed that entire time, and I didn't really start getting connected to the social media and the Fever until a little bit later in the season. At the beginning still, but a little bit later, so I didn't catch that. But from my perspective, Aaliyah Boston has been an amazing player throughout.
Yeah, hi, Leah. Throughout the course of the year, we got to see the offense, grow more and more each game. So I guess should the front office make some moves or whatever they do, what do you think is the next key for this offense to continue to grow in the next season?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for us, it's going to make sure that, one, we have depth at every position. I think making sure that we have extra bodies, just because you never know how games go. I mean, in the first, can I get fined for something? Like in the first game, we had to reverse a call, like making sure that stuff like that doesn't happen, foul trouble, like making sure that we have depth. I can't get fined for that. Right? Okay, good. And just making sure that no matter what, we have sharpshooters on the outside, because at the end of the day, like, they're going to play Caitlin, they're going to play Kelsey a certain way, making sure that we have spray outs, automatic makes on the outside as well.
Go Chloe, then Christine.
Yeah, I mean, the depth comment is interesting, because I'm not sure if she's hinting at the fact that there is no depth currently. I thought the team that they had was okay. They just needed to find a better way to have them play together. I at times, and I'll get into this a little bit later as well, but at times I was hoping that there was a way that we could combine the talents of Temi Fagbenle and Damaris Dantas, and then we would have like the missing piece. But yeah, so that's interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, I saw you commented on Melissa's post saying she's destined for greatness. Just what has your relationship with her been like, and how have you seen her kind of work through this season?
Yeah, Liz is my sister, and I think we've just been able to build a relationship like that for the past 2 years, and I'm super blessed to always have her in my corner. And I did mean when I say I know that she's destined for greatness, and I think throughout this entire season, this season for all of us wasn't perfect, had its ups and downs, but I think something that I'm so proud of her about is she came in every single day, she had a smile on her face, we made each other laugh, and she just just dominated every single time she got that opportunity to. And so I'm really super excited for everything that's to come for her.
Go Christine, then we'll go Dana.
Yeah, we'll get into Alyssa Smith a little bit later too, but I think I agree to an extent that she's destined for individual greatness. And if Alyssa Smith is to be destined for individual greatness, then that cannot come with the Indiana Fever. That's just my take on that, right? Because right now we can't. Alyssa Smith can't be the focus or the focal point within this team, and if she's not, I don't think that she can be effective. And that's the only way that she can really dominate is if she's the focal point. It's very similar to Carmelo Anthony, right? Like if Carmelo Anthony was put in a second or third option role, he wasn't going to be as effective, right? There's not a lot you can do with Carmelo Anthony within the flow of the game. He's a showstopper. So what you would do is you give him the ball in the post, and then you just get your popcorn or go sit on a chair somewhere and watch him just go and do his thing one-on-one. But that's not how this team can win, and that's why Carmelo Anthony also did not win any championships in the NBA, is because that's what it was. It's like, all right, here you go, Carmelo, go do your thing. I don't, okay, we're just here for you, I guess. So I think if there's a team out there where Alyssa Smith can do that, then yeah, she's gonna be great.
Leah, from you commentating last year on the Big Ten Network where you were interviewing Caitlin at times to now being this ABC squared, whatever it was, could you talk about the maturation of your relationship with her on the court and off and how important that has been to you and to her and to the Fever? Thank you.
I think it's grown a lot from the start of the season to now. I think you definitely just needed to build that bond between us. I mean, it's kind of hard when you come straight from college, and I knew that coming from my rookie season to kind of just jump into games and have to build that relationship super quick. And so it definitely took more practices, definitely took more games to learn each other and where each other likes to do and stuff like that. But I mean, I think we've done a pretty solid job of that, and it's helped us definitely in games.
Stay Dana, then we'll go to Scott on the left.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah, and that was cool. I mean, it's a good perspective to have because she just went through that herself, so she kind of understanding everything that Caitlin Clark was going through. But in addition to that, just the heightened attention with everything.
I was wondering your thoughts on the Alyssa Thomas comments and if you've witnessed any of that firsthand.
I don't know if I have. I know she has a great answer to this question about the Alyssa Thomas and the trolls and everything like that. Well, let's watch it. I wish we didn't have to spend too much time talking about this.
And inside Gamebridge.
Yeah, I mean, AT's comments were, it's hard to hear, but it's also the truth in some way. I mean, I wouldn't put everything on Fever fans, but I mean, just overall.
By Fever fans, we know exactly what they mean.
On social media, I mean, there has been so much hate spread, and even being on this team, like to start the season, I was at the other end of those hate comments. I was at the other end of every single thing that's to come. They say they support the Fever and everything like that, but I mean, they just said everything under the earth, and it wasn't nice. And I feel like that was a big reason as to why I took a break from social media. And at the same time, it's like now that the tables have turned and we started winning games and I started doing better in their opinion, then all of a sudden it was like love comments and oh my gosh, you're doing amazing. And honestly, it's hard as a player because every single night we come out here, we're not performing for what you guys think. We are coming out here to do the best that we can to compete every single night. And it's kind of hard, but that's why for us, it's about focusing about the 12 in the locker room. It's about focusing what's important there, keeping those priorities straight. Because if you worry about every single thing that happens on the outside, it's kind of hard to win games, and that's exactly what we want to do. But a big part of it too is the storylines that come out. Like, I feel like the media plays a big role in what other people think, whether they watch the game or not. Sometimes people aren't even watching the games. They're just looking at storylines, headlines that come out, and they're running off of that. And it's easy to attach yourself to the Fever because we have a lot of attention around us right now. And it's so easy to say, well, I'm a Fever fan, I'm an AB fan, I'm a Caitlin fan, and just dispute hate off of that. And that's never okay. I feel like no matter who you are, what team you play for, like, that should never be the case.
Go Scott.
I mean, of course, right? I mean, to me, this is a lot of wishful thinking, and I don't disagree with Leo Boston, but we live on planet Earth. You know, if we lived in an ideal world, in a perfect world, then yeah, of course you can make these type of demands. But the fact is that we don't, and a lot of people don't put themselves in the shoes of other players or other circumstances and everything like that, and they don't have to, right? We can't demand that. Um, all we can do is just continue to do what we can to set the example of what right looks like, without spreading so much hatred and all of these things. But you can't control that, and you can't let it get to you. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's the only way to navigate through this, through 2024, which is the year that we live in. And of course, these players experienced something that other players in the past did not, right? Like in the 80s and the 90s, it was some sort of hatred, but it was different. It wasn't, that you got it at the court, and then you also got it in the streets, and then you also got it when you went back home. So imagine being these players, right? You get hated when you visit a different arena, and people are saying shit about you, and then you get it when you're out in the streets, and then you go home and like, let me relax, let me open up my phone and check out social media, and then you're getting it there too. I get it. It definitely sucks, but you have to somehow develop some sort of tougher skin, and that's good. That just goes for for our entire society. I do feel like we are increasingly sensitive, and we get offended by every little thing that happens, and that's no way to live a happy life. Is to continue to get offended by everything that you see and everything that you experience, and something that you didn't like, and it happens. But anyways, it was a good answer for Boston though.
And then we go Bob.
In this kind of foundational season, what kind of core principles and culture stuff do you feel like you guys were able to establish as you move forward?
Yeah, I mean, one, just being disciplined. I feel like that was the biggest thing for us. Kelsey would say that all the time. No matter what happens on the court, no matter what's going on, like we have to be disciplined to what we know is important. I feel like that was a really big part of our foundation. But this other time, it's also riding for us 12. Like I know I keep saying it, but that is really one of the biggest things that got us through. There's so much outside noise. There's everything that could be said, could be done outside, but we know that when we come in here to compete, it is for the person to our right, it is for the person to our left. Like we've built a strong sisterhood, and we stand on that no matter what.
Bob, real quick, let me try going to Zoom for one.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, Aaliyah Boston is. We'll talk more about her here when we do the individual player recap for this season, but she's going to be such an amazing teammate for Caitlin Clark, and I hope that they stay together for the remainder of their careers, because they're both such quality humans and extremely talented. Like I can't wait to see what Aaliyah Boston develops, how her game develops moving forward, because I believe that she has the potential to be the second best player in the WNBA, right behind Caitlin Clark. And once you have established that, it just means that there's no one that's going to be able to beat you. I don't know who holds the record for most WNBA championships as far as a player, winning WNBA championships. But this duo right here has a chance to just rack them up like it's nobody's business. Because they have such a unique and complementary skill set. It's gonna be so scary, and I can't wait. I mean, I love covering this stuff only because I'm excited about what both of them are gonna bring specifically.
One more year. Howard, do you want to go see if we've got all the technical issues worked out? No? Okay, we can't hear it, so.
Well,
Bob,
you've
go
been
ahead.
around Caitlin for several months now. What are some of the things that she's had to endure on and off the floor that maybe we don't see?
I think to get a better answer to that, you'd have to ask Caitlin, probably. But I think just off of what you can see from the eye, I mean, I feel like Caitlin, everyone had a comment about how she should be playing or what she's doing, her stats. And at the end of the day, I think she's a rookie continuing to figure it out. I mean, she has a lot of attention on her, so there's always going to come scrutiny with that. But I also think that she does a great job of just letting it go off her shoulder, in through one ear, out through the next, because she knows exactly that we trust her, she trusts us. And, like, that's the most important thing at the end of the day.
All right, so the last one, Aaliyah, we'll finish up from Howard. What impact did Gillette Law have on your development?
Yeah, the Caitlin Clark answer was kind of interesting when she said you have to ask Caitlyn, but I guess that's true, right? They're not super connected to them, but you can create a perspective as to, how they're being treated or how you're seeing that this is affecting her. But maybe Caitlin Clark does such an amazing job to stay focused and not let that bother her too much that they don't see it. So, okay, we're gonna do the Katie Lou and Alyssa Smith one now real quick, because I think that's just interesting, especially from the Alyssa Smith perspective and even the Katie Lou perspective as well, because I kind of felt bad.
One for both of you, if you don't mind.
Especially the answers. I mean, you'll see here.
Let's start with you. You said last night that you couldn't have imagined your third season going this way. Can you kind of elaborate on what you meant by that and what kind of was different in your mind?
Well, I mean, everybody comes into a season thinking they're going to have this outstanding, accolade, achievement, season. So, I mean, I feel like I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to do. I didn't get to contribute as much as I wanted to contribute. So that's all I meant by that.
How hard was it with your role kind of changing a lot throughout the year or two to be the player that you maybe hoped or wanted to be this year?
It was really hard because coming in, there was a lot of different conversations of how it was going to play out. So just it fluctuating throughout the season, it was a lot of highs and lows.
Go, James and Chloe.
Melissa, how did you personally deal with the hate, the racism, the attention, scrutiny, and then also just navigate that to go out there and hoop?
I feel like I'm the type of person where I just be putting like a lot of stuff to the side and try to keep like the main thing. So I don't be trying to get too like deep into like the other side of things, because I know at the end of the day I'm just, I'm here to play basketball, and it's also like, there's only so much you could say when you're here.
Chloe and Christine.
Yeah, Melissa, that post, it kind of seemed like it was a goodbye post to the Fever. I know you have a year left.
So before we get into that question, the question about the goodbye post, because it really didn't seem like she was deucing out, right? Like even the picture was deuce out. She changed her profile. What was it? Description from Fever to WNBA. A lot of different hints and a lot of different posts, essentially alluding to leaving. But yeah, I mean, the third year, I think for Alyssa Smith, she was, her rookie year was really good, and then I think she improved a lot during her second year, and she was probably thinking, yeah, this third year I'm gonna improve, I'm gonna continue to get better, and then for it to turn out the way that it did. But again, it's just unfortunate because she just doesn't fit really well with the play style of both Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. So Caitlin Clark's game and Aaliyah Boston's game, they complement each other really well. I mean, they can do a lot of things on the floor together because there's constant movement between the two, right? Whether it's set in the pick and roll and Aaliyah, rolling to the basket, or hitting that mid-range pop and all that things that opens up the game for both of them. It's very similar to the Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray pick and roll, which is just money every single time. But then you introduce a player that Alyssa Smith, who does not fit that style at all whatsoever. Of course, they're going to her game is going to take a hit, because it's either you let Alyssa Smith cook and get hers, but then both Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, who are massive weapons of destruction, would just be idle for those plays, and you can't have that either.
On your contract, but do you anticipate parting ways with the Fever this offseason?
I've been hearing that a lot, but I didn't think it was a goodbye. It was more so just like, me appreciating all the people that did help me get through this season, and just helping me keep my mental health on straight. I mean, I just put like, I don't know what the future holds, because in this league, so many players jump around, get traded, get waived, get this, get that. So it's like, I could have said the same thing last year, this year. I mean, I don't know what my future holds. So.
Go, Christine.
Katie Lou, obviously from college.
That kind of makes sense. I don't know. Is she locked up? I just don't know what the contract terms for rookie contracts are. I was under the impression that it was a team option, but maybe it's not a team option. Um, and I don't know the feasibility of trading Nalissa Smith is, so we'll have to see. But maybe she knows some things that we don't know, or the agents or the organization have had conversations that they can't share right now in this exit interviews. But it does appear that she's on the way out.
Friendship and getting to know people and how important that can be in terms of a success for a team, as you had it with UConn. Here, it seemed like you and Caitlin, Lexi, going on vacation. Did you feel that changed potentially the dynamic for all three of you and the team in general to have getting to know each other, friendship, the jokes, the fun that you could have? And did that actually help the Fever do better? Thanks.
For sure. I think throughout the season, throughout that Olympic break, I think our team as individuals, we really got close together. And I think we had such a group of players that have such good hearts. I think people didn't always get to see how much fun we had together and really understand how big of a bond we did have as a group. And as we got closer, I think that helped our season. You saw how we started and then how we finished the year. We really had to come together because that beginning of the season, it was rough for everyone involved. And so us really leaning on each other and coming together, that's what kind of turned it around. And as the season progressed, we knew that, whatever happens on the outside, whatever happens in the game, it's on each other that we need to be there for each other.
We'll go Scott, then we'll go back.
Yeah, and that was cool. That was definitely evident about the chemistry that was being developed on the court as provided from the interactions and spending time together off the court. And I know that Katie Lou and Lexi Hall were the closest friends or the easiest friends that for Caitlin Clark.
Back to Chloe.
Katie Lou, can you kind of walk us through your season? Because there's some highs and lows. It felt like there was a turning point, maybe at that illness, and then you're out a few games, and then minutes started to dip. What kind of happened there and impacted your season?
Yeah, I can honestly say this was the toughest season I've ever had. As a player, as a person, so many different things, so many things in my life changed leading into this season. Best things that could have happened to me, having my daughter. I'm so proud of myself for getting back to playing and getting back in this league. But, there was just a lot that I had to deal with myself, internally, externally. There's just things that I really tried to push through and went through this season, and I'm really proud of myself for how I was able to handle all of it. I appreciate my team for always being there, picking me up. The staff, everyone really were there to help me through, and I'm excited to see what I can do going forward. But like you said, this season was a lot of ups and downs, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity, for the support, and the love I had around me.
Yeah, so I think it really sucks for Katie Lou because she was actually part of that initial starting five coming out of the Olympic break that was being really successful. And I think she was playing really well. She was developing some sort of rhythm with the team. And if we look at the analytics and some of the lineups that we tend to look at with the offensive rating and defensive rating and the net rating at the end, you can see that she was part of some very efficient and some very effective lineups. But it is true also that when she went down for, I think they say it was some sort of, I don't know if it was an injury or sickness or something that took her down or took her out that one game, Lexi Hall replaces her in the starting lineup and does extremely well. She somewhat lost, it seemed like she lost some confidence, she lost some rhythm, and she was never able to find it again throughout the rest of the season. Right, so it was just appearing that she was lost on defense. It appeared that she didn't have her shot back, but the shot, as far as making shots from the outside and everything, has a lot to do with your confidence. And if your confidence is shot, and your confidence has taken a hit, then you may not be making those open threes anymore. But I do believe, I think, between Lexi Hall and Samuelson, I think they're pretty equally amazing three-point shooters, and Katie Lou Samuelson has a reputation from college that she was a defensive specialist because she was in a bunch of old defensive teams in college. So she's probably known for her defense, and she's taller than Lexi Hall. I think Lexi Hall is better defensively, but Katie Lou is taller than Lexi Hall and can move pretty good. So if maybe she's improves on the conditioning during the off season and comes back in focused and added confidence, she'll be a lethal outside shooter along with providing excellent defense. So I think her coming off the bench for Lexi Hall and maybe they can share some time on the court together as well. But I think she's gonna be good. Apparently she's gonna be they're not gonna get rid of her. She's just gonna come back for the next season, and I think that will be good. But I think we're gonna see a much improved version of Samuelson.
Chloe, then last one in the room for Tony.
Yeah, for Katie Lou, kind of just to follow up on that, just after having Aaliyah, was it more difficult than you anticipated to come back into the fold?
I mean, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, coming back, playing, and just doing what I needed to do this season. I think I am excited for the future. I feel like I have an understanding of what I need as an individual, as a human. I think people they have a limited view of what we go through as players, and they see what they see, and it's easy to criticize or say, things could be, you need to fix this, you need to be doing that, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on that people, media, fans, everything, nobody gets to see the day-to-day, and so having that support is really important going forward, and I'm excited for this off-season and then to come back next year be better.
We got James.
Yeah, that's the truth. But again, people are going to make all of their opinions and all of their takes based on our limited view and perspective of what we see, right? We see what's on the court. We don't see behind the scenes interactions, behind the scenes conversations. We don't see practices, right? Because sometimes during practices, some players may be elevating themselves above other players. It's just when it comes to games, to real games, then something changes. But she's absolutely right. And I really like her approach. I think she's value added just the same way that Erica Wheeler is to this team, to this core, to Caitlin Clark's mental health and having close people around her. Like, I think Katie Lou Samuelson is actually a key player to the Fever.
And then we'll go last one on Zoom for Howard.
Melissa, I know you touched on it. You expect every season, every player expects to have a great season, all these things. But for you, how do you grow through that? 'Cause some people think that growth is like linear. It's going to be constantly up. But how do you continue to grow as time goes by? And how do you think you've grown so far in the WNBA?
Just putting the work in. Just starting at knowing you belong here. You got to know you belong here, and you got to know you could compete in this league, you could play in this league. So that's what I do know about myself. I've been playing basketball my whole life, so I know what I could bring to the table, and I know what I could prove. So it's just about, this offseason is going to be super important, getting the work in, going to play overseas, making sure I'm in shape, making sure I just take care of myself. So that's going to be, big leading up into my fourth year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I'll add this about Melissa Smith as well, is that her focus is individual greatness. And I keep bringing back Carmelo Anthony to describe Melissa Smith and everything like that. But again, just the fit with the team just isn't there. And she has to make some crazy sacrifices in order to make it work with the Fever. And I don't think she should do that. Not at this age, not as where she's at, right? I don't think we should expect that she's gonna make sacrifices, for winning. I think that we can maybe look at the Temi Fakbenla interview as well, and she has a whole different perspective than Alyssa Smith when it comes to, and my focus is winning. I don't care if I come off the bench. I don't care if I don't score. I just want to win. But Temi Fakbenla is at a such different, she's not as talented as Smith, and she's a little bit older where now she can focus on winning and just want to be a part of a team's success, where Alyssa Smith is not at that point in her career. She's young. I think she's 24, 25 years old. She's really about to hit her prime. Like, we should not expect Alyssa Smith to want to make those sacrifices. There's not many players that do that, but we shouldn't put that on her. She still wants to show that she's great. maybe when she's older, maybe when she gets into her 30s, now she wants to shift and say, okay, yeah, now I do want to just be a role player and contribute to the team's winning. But I don't think that's where she's at right now, and I don't think that's where she should be right now either. So I don't want to blame her on any of this stuff. But again, the best thing for both the Fever and her is to part ways.
Last one on Zoom. Howard, go ahead.
Liz, Lou, congratulations on the season that you guys have had. Katie Lou, if I could ask you, obviously with all that you have gone through, to be in a situation knowing that you have stability for the off season as you figure out kind of what's ahead. Take me through the way you envision this time going and just what that level of security means to you, knowing you have a place next year, you know where you're going to be.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I have had quite the career. I'm excited to be in the same place playing and building on this. And this offseason, I also have the opportunity, which I didn't have as much before, to have a place to train and be around and people that can help me in this offseason directly. And so that's something that I haven't necessarily had access to before. And I'm just excited to build on it, to come back, to grow. I think playing in the playoffs and being in that position, was really awesome to do and be in this situation this first time I've been on the Fever. And so, we want to grow from here and get back there and be even better.
One for both of you, if you don't mind.
Okay, so that was Samuelson and Smith. Now we're going to look at the Mitchell Wheeler interviews. And yeah, I liked everything and Smith was as professional and as frank as she could be with the situation. I mean, she didn't shy away from saying I expected to have a better season than this, but things just turned out to be turned out to be what they are. So let's check out the other one, Mitchell and
Because I know
Mitchell and Wheeler. Yeah. Here we go.
we asked you this a lot throughout the season, but now that it's over, you had the playoff experience. What did this all mean to you to have this season finally crescendo the way it did and have accolades come your way, both on a team and personal level?
Oh, man, I was grateful. I didn't know how I was going to get through this year. And so, I first thank God because I was just telling Mr. Ed, I went through a lot internally. A lot of what I went through, I relied on my dad for. And not having that voice, not having that, sense of, connection, physically, indoor, psychologically, mentally, etc. That was tough. And so I had a village of, other 11 ladies that willed me in a lot of places I didn't think I was capable of going. But it was definitely a paramount year for me on so many different levels. So I was grateful for the year.
Coach James and Chloe.
Erica, Grace just talked about, people supporting her throughout everything. I feel like you're the biggest supporter of anybody wearing Fever stuff. Where does the energy come from you personally?
Yeah, and that's one thing also for before we get into the Erica Wheeler question. Kelsey Mitchell was dealing with a lot mentally, right? Coming into this season and not expecting not knowing what to expect and what everything was going to look like on the court, especially after having drafted Caitlin Clark. So they all understood that it was going to be a shift and no one knew how they were going to fit into this new environment.
And then, why is it so important for you to put that out there for everybody who touches, Fever things?
One, I'm probably the most experienced player on this league. And I think the ones that came before me that taught me the way would be disappointed if I didn't. So one, I'm always trying to make the people that helped me along the way proud. And one, my energy just comes from my mom. My mom is an energy person. My family. If you go to a family cookout.
Yes, the whole family.
It's a burst of energy. Nobody is really calm, probably the baby only if they sleep. But other than that, it's turned up. But the energy comes from that. And then me just trying to help where I can help. Like I said, I've been in this league for a very long time. 10 years sound crazy. And I've been through so many things. So I notice like when players are down and when they need, certain things, and I just try to give it in any way I can.
We got Chloe, then Christine.
Yeah, Kelsey, Christy earlier talked about how important you've been, just especially this year. And, with your contract expiring after this season, would you be interested in re-signing or coming back to the organization?
It's definitely a lot of emotions and thoughts that flow through my mind. I think that everything for me is so fresh that I don't know what I need and what I'm going to do, but I know that when the time comes and the opportunity is right for me to make those decisions, obviously I've always had a home in Indy, so it could potentially be a home for me again. But I think right now the switching dynamic of my family and everything, I got to do what's best for me, and that's no hanging my hat on one team or another, but I think it's specifically for me. I got to be selfish about that process. And when I know, you'll know. So we'll see.
Yeah, so I think I honestly and frankly think that that Kelsey Mitchell is gone. I think that she's leaving the Fever during the offseason. I think this answer, she tried to navigate it as careful as she could. Without giving too many hints, but it appears to me that she's ready to move on and she's ready to go somewhere else. And two things on this, because I think this affects Kelsey Mitchell more than this is going to affect Kelsey Mitchell more than it's going to affect the Indiana Fever once she leaves, because she was able to have this great of a season. If you look, she had this is her best season so far, and she's been in the league for 6 years now, 7 years. So it's not like she's gonna, she's probably on her prime right now, but her production is deemed to decline. And she was so good because she was playing with Caitlin Clark, and all the attention was on Caitlin Clark. So if you see a lot of these shots that she was taking, a lot of the drives that she was having to the basket, they were wide open because the focus was Caitlin Clark. But yeah, you can average 19.5 points per game playing next to someone who draws all the attention. But if she goes to a different team, I don't know, the Sky or what other team maybe needs her a little bit, whatever other team, it's not going to have another player that's going to command so much attention, both from a scoring and a passing perspective, because Caitlin Clark is the best shooter and the best passer in the league. And if Kelsey Mitchell is now the scoring focus for the opposing teams, then she's not going to be as effective as she would be with the Fever. I think if she stays with the Fever, she's going to continue to be dominant, continue to put up 19 points per game numbers, continue to, to people say, oh my gosh, she's really good. Yeah, she is. But a lot of what she's doing is coming through the flow of the offense, wide open shots, driving to the basket, Caitlin Clark doing those outlet passes. That's how the scoring really came. And then she's not that effective on the defensive end. And when she tries to do too much, she turns the ball over a lot when she's dribbling and handling the basketball way too much. So I don't know. I think her leaving and going somewhere else, it's only going to potentially, as far as if she cares about production and cares about her numbers and stuff like that, but maybe not. Maybe she wants to hoop with a free spirit, with a free mind, without all this pressure that it comes with being an Indiana Fever. So, and when I look at free agency and the players that are free agency, just imagine if Kelsey Mitchell leaves and the Fever somehow are able to sign Gabby Williams. Like, I think Gabby Williams would be such a better complement piece than Kelsey Mitchell. Gabby Williams is someone who's a proven winner, who, shows up at the, when the stage is brighter, when the lights are brighter. Someone who can defend, who's taller, who can defend like crazy. Like, she would be it if you can do that. But I don't even know if Gabby Williams wants to be a Fever, but I think she does. She every time that she talks about the pay disparity between playing in Europe and playing in the WNBA and how they don't get paid enough. But if she were to be a Fever with all that attention and all that focus, especially if they start winning, she's going to start making a lot more money, gaining endorsements and contracts and everything like that. So maybe that's the move. I don't know. But I don't know how feasible that is. I don't even know if Gabby Williams has her eyes set on the Fever. Hi, Roll. I appreciate the comment. Yeah, that's just how I feel. And this is not to say anything bad about Mitchell. I think if she wants to resign, that's great. That'd be awesome. She's going to continue to be a vital and key player to the Fever. So this is not to say that I'm campaigning for her to leave. But I think the Fever may have other options. And I don't consider Kelsey Mitchell to be like a core must-keep player priority. I continue to believe that's Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and Lexi Hall. But she's good. If she wants to come back, that's great. That's awesome. But I don't think the fans should go crazy or any blaming or anything if she decides to leave. Again, she's going to make the best decisions for her personally, for her circumstances, for her situation. And I wish her, if she decides to go, I'll be paying attention, and I wish her nothing but the best and success in what she wants to accomplish.
See.
Christine, then we'll go to Dana.
For both of you, you both are veterans and have had amazing careers. You've also had the opportunity to be mentors, especially with this very young team, right? And with AB and now, of course, Caitlin. Is there a moment, or can you just speak generally or specifically about that role, watching them work together with you guys, of course, but anything comes to mind of how you helped Caitlin or AB or both of them, so, of course, also helping your entire team? Thanks.
EW, you want that one?
I can take it. I think you guys know from before this even started, I was helping Caitlin. And I think just from a perspective of a veteran, knowing that when you play the same position as a veteran and you're a rookie, I think the transition is always hard. And for me, I don't like weirdness. I don't like awkwardness. I'm very honest. I'm very direct. And I didn't want anything to be weird or awkward that she couldn't come to me. And knowing that, I knew that it's a possibility my spot would be taken. I didn't want her to feel like it was heavy on her, so that's why I reached out early on. And like you asked about A, B, and C, I think you guys saw it. I mean, it was some days where it was very freaking awesome, and there was some days where we struggled, but that's just the name of the game. That happens. And they're young. AB's only 2 years in the league. Caitlin's months in the league. It's not even a year yet. She's only months in the league. So I think with time, it only is going to get better. And as you saw, with time after the break, it got better. So the future is very bright for those two.
Yeah, I think Erica Wheeler was great bench and locker room presence, and definitely helped catapult both Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, right? Because she was there. You could tell how much she supported all of the players no matter what. And of course her playing time took a hit, and a lot of things took a hit for Erica Wheeler. Like, she made a lot of sacrifices, but also she's at that point in her career where she can make those sacrifices. Like, so when we compare her demeanor and her approach and we contrast it with Nalissa Smith's, it's two very different points in their career, where this is a more, veteran presence and I think she can be a veteran presence in championship teams moving forward. But Nalissa Smith just wants to be great individual.
We'll go Dana, then we'll go Scott on the left.
I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Alyssa Thomas's comments and if you've seen any of that firsthand.
No, what was the comments?
Oh, Alyssa Thomas came out and said that the Fever fan base was racist.
I mean, we can't control what someone else says. Like, for the more
I think that for us, we err on the side of professionalism in a lot of different ways, and we can only control what's in our organization, within our people. And that, I mean, me personally, we don't condone those kind of things. No, no matter what color you are or whatever you carry or possess. I think for us, we focus on the basketball part. And I think that she may have had an experience that we may or may not know on her own. But I don't think that, that should be labeled on us 12 or our, who we try to represent for ourselves. And so, I respect her comment and what she has to say, but I don't think it has anything to do with us,
Yeah, and also to piggyback on that, we don't condone any of those things.
At all.
For the more eyes been on us since C got drafted. So for us, our ears been blocked out longer than most people, if that make any sense. So, like I've said a comment before, it's a lot of things that try to come in this building and to pull us apart that we just didn't let. However, we probably got it too. We just don't care about it, because what's important is this organization and us winning games, and that's what we did. So, but for the most part, we don't condone that. I don't care about it because there's a fan who probably sitting on the couch doing nothing, so I don't care.
Yeah, and that was an interesting response too. I think they handled that really well, without feeding into it. Just continue. You can control what people say, and that is very true. And you can only control how you let it affect you. As and for them, like as players, you can. That's all you can control. But you can't never. And the more that you fight against it, the worse it's gonna get because it's just gonna continue to add fuel to the fire. So I think this is the best approach, and I commend both of them for approaching it in that way and having that mindset.
Scott, then we'll go Matt in the room.
To either one of you, coming out of the pressure cooker that's been this whole season, more like on the basketball court, the sellout arenas, the attention, additional media, having come out of that, what stands out to you about that experience and the elevated attention received by everyone?
I think for me, what's most glaring is, for one, the amount of eyes that was gained through this process, for seeing us play and seeing us represent what is the game. And then on the flip side, I think it was an open eye for what 2024 was like, being in this world and being an athlete. And I applaud these young players like your Angel, your C Squares, because it's an experience, and I think that you really have to prepare yourself mentally. You have to be okay with who you are, and you have to have a sense of thick skin in this process. I applaud those young ladies because it was an experience for me. I just say that.
Got Matt, then we'll go on Zoom for two.
Yeah, hi, Erica. Last year, more starting minutes. This year, more of an important bench role and bringing the energy every single game. What do you envision for your future in this league, and is there going to be an intent to come back here as this is your home?
I don't know. This for the first time in my career, I really don't know. I really just want to spend time with my family. I think we all need a break. I'm gonna probably get off social media for a bit and just really spend time with my family because, like Kelsey said, it was a lot. With the eyes, you gotta have thick skin, and I must say my thick skin was tested a lot. But
same.
But I think for the most part we was very professional, and then I think once we flipped our mind and made it about us, nothing else really mattered. So for me right now, it's about my family and just spending time with my family because I'm also going overseas to play in Turkey. I'll probably assign today. By the end of the day.
Are you?
By the end of the day, I don't know. I got to sign it. I don't know. I might change my mind. Who knows? Things happen.
Makes two of us.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So really, right now, it's just about my family. I'm not thinking about free agency. So many people are asking me about it. I don't really care right now.
So I just in this point, I think it's interesting that most players go and play. They go play overseas because number one, it appears that the WNBA season is not enough. Right? 40 games, and it seems like they want more. They're hungry for more, and they can play more. So it's not like the WNBA season is limited because it's too taxing on the players. It seems like it's just limited on the on the financial side of things, and so they want to play more basketball, so they go and I guess the WNBA offseason allows them to do that and to gain a little bit and to make a little bit more money as well. So it's gonna be interesting because I think the WNBA is thinking about expanding the season from 40 games to 44. I think 42 or 44. I can't remember. But if it continues to have the attention that it did for this season and continues to improve upon that, I think you have to start thinking about really, really expanding the WNBA season. Now, do you want it? I think part of the consideration too is that the WNBA doesn't want to compete with the NBA at any point during the season, but I still think you can expand it if you start again May or June timeframe, so that at least early on you're not competing with the NBA. You can finish maybe December would be a good time for the WNBA to finish. And then by December, really people don't really care too much about the NBA until Christmas time. Those Christmas games, they put them on ESPN, on ABC and everything like that. So I think if you can finish the WNBA before Christmas, which is where when the WNBA starts to pick up, I think you should be good and you avoid competing with the NBA moving forward. Now the problem is also that during December, you're competing with the NFL, especially when it's playoff time, and December time in the NFL, it's huge. But NFL, you have to just avoid it on Sundays and on Thursdays, and then you should be good to go. So I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to see if the WNBA can afford to expand this season for another 2 months, so that they don't have to, they don't feel like they need to go overseas and then still make a good money, good living, just by playing in this league.
Now I'm a very present person, and my next present thing is to kind of just be with my family, and then also checking on my teammates from time to time, even though I need a break from them too.
Not for me.
We got 2 on Zoom. We'll finish up. Jennifer, then Howard. Jennifer, go ahead.
Jennifer Porty from Let's Talk Women in Basketball. What are your personal goals for next season, and what was your most memorable moment this season?
I would say my most memorable moment was my first time seeing the amount of fans. I don't know if it was like this is crazy moment, but I had my jaw dropped, and I think we were playing New York. It was playing New York. Yeah. It was an ESPN game. I'd never seen that many people in the field house in my life. So I would say that was my most memorable moment because that was an early New York game. Yeah. Awesome. It was a beautiful experience for me because I've literally been here for 7 years, and that amount of people in that arena was crazy. So, but I think the personal goals is figure out how I can be better as a player, figure out what I need to do to help a team, whatever team that is, and then from there, be the best I can be.
Most memorable moment was the Caitlin Clark effect moment. Well, that's pretty cool. And I think Erica Wheeler has a similar Caitlin Clark effect moment as well.
I think for me, my memorable moment is when I threw the drop pass back to C, and the arena just went crazy for the first time. Like, I played UConn when I was in college, and it was a crazy experience playing in UConn. But that was probably the best. In that moment, I was just like, yo.
And that's the beauty about how we're fans and how we're connected, because look, the memorable moments, that's all Caitlin Clark creates. It's just memorable moments, things where you're at awe of things happening around her, around you, around them. So people question, what's the hype? What's the hype? She's constantly creating memorable moments, memorable years, memorable seasons. Like, everything about Caitlin Clark is memorable. I think that's another word that we can kind of tie into, because I'm trying to increase the toolbox of how to better explain why we are such Caitlin Clark fans. But memorable, I think that resonates because it really truly is. Like, when you speak about her college career, memorable, like everything, the experience as she went in her journey to break all these scoring records, everything about it was memorable. The finals against LSU was memorable. The finals, the Final Four against who did they beat? Was it South Carolina in 2023? That was memorable. All of the things that she creates, the entire WNBA season was memorable. I mean, that's why we follow. That's why we like her.
We about to get this every night. This is crazy, and but that just goes to show you what the women game is doing. It's just growing, and the world is watching. And for me, my personal goals for next year, I always want to be better. Always trying to have a bunch of people that my mentors, trying to be better, a better leader. For the more look good all the time, I'm not always the best leader, and I get checked by my teammates a lot. So just trying to figure out ways to be better as a leader. And on the basketball side, we're going to stay in the gym regardless. Like, that's a no-brainer.
Howard, last one.
Kelsey, Erica, congratulations to you both on the seasons that you've had. Erica, this one's for you. I know you've talked about being a mentor for Caitlin. I wonder how much Coach Stringer has played a part in the way you think about how you've approached that, and if you have a particular moment you remember where you said something that ultimately you knew it could have come out of Coach Stringer's mouth.
Most definitely, Vivian has a big part in that. She preached sisterhood, and I think for me, just reaching out first, I think that's the first thing that came to my mind, because Vivian is a very direct person. She doesn't.
Okay, so we're gonna stop it here. This was pretty good interview, pretty good insight into both of their mindsets, their approach, and recapping their season and kind of where they're going moving forward. So for Kelsey Mitchell, we don't know. She might stay, she might go. Um, I think it's okay either way. I think the Fever will be fine either way. But let's now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start up some chess games over here, and then we're just gonna talk about each player individually, kind of my thoughts about them and how they did during the season, what my take was for all of them, and where I see them in the future as far as an overall fit with the Fever and how the Fever likes to play. Plus, what's going on? Whoa, what's going on, David? Doing all right? Yeah, we're good over here. Just recapping this awesome season for the Indiana Fever, and then, kind of talking about what's next for them. That's what we're going to be doing here for a little bit. We just went over all of the exit. Well, not all, but I think some of the key exit interviews from some of the key players. So now we're gonna play a bit of chess and talk about the players. So I want to start with Lexi Ho. I think So I want to start with Lexi Ho. I think Lexi Ho, it was an interesting start to the season. Hang on, let me open Basketball Reference real quick. Because I want to look at the overall stats and the minutes, because I think she didn't play that many minutes. Yeah. Okay, what's going on over here? Yeah, let's do that. So Lexi Ho played less than 20 minutes a game overall, right? Like, it took a while for the coaching staff to realize the importance of Lexi Ho. We're saying just checking it out. Oh, awesome, David. Well, yeah, I hope you enjoy. We just have, different conversations. And for this segment, I just do the whole basketball and chess because I love chess and I love basketball. So that's what I intend to do anyways for these different live streams. But yeah, so Lexi Ho again, less than 20 minutes, and I don't know why it took so long to discover Lexi Ho. Like, what was the coaching staff thinking? What were they looking at? I don't know, but I mean, the hustle to me has always been there. The basketball IQ piece of it has always been there. Oh, shoot. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, what am I doing? Anyway, I'm throwing this whole game off. So yeah, so I don't know why it took so long, and it wasn't really until the second half of the season where she was inserted into the starting lineup, because even when she was during the first part of the season and she was getting some game time, she wasn't getting consistent minutes, but when she became part of the starting lineup, then she was getting the consistent minutes that she needed. Perfect, I think. Let's see. So that was I think that took forever. Oh man, what is this? A capture fest over here? All right, keep bringing it. Oh no, if he does this with a night, oh yep, it's over. I'm re-signing. Oh, oh, that was bad. That was a bad game, anyways. But, where was I? Was I with Lexi Ho? What were we talking about here? Okay, yeah. So, anyways, 20 minutes, and here I can share a little bit of it as well. So here's kind of what I'm looking at. Close that. So for this season, right, Lexi Ho, as I was talking about, 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes per game. So this is a crime, of course, as we've talked about. This shooting percentage is crazy, 47%. And interestingly enough, for the previous 2 seasons, she only shot like 27% her second year and like 18% her first year. So this was a massive improvement from her prior 2 years. And I know that I've shown this before. Hang on, let me see if I can bring it up, because we have to talk about this whenever we bring up Lexi Ho. So Lexi Ho, I'm not sure if you guys knew, she has a LinkedIn profile. So what we know about, I don't know when this happened. I don't know when Lexi Ho was like, you know what, I need to build a LinkedIn profile because I have no idea whether this basketball thing is going to work out for me or not. And then, this is a fully built LinkedIn profile where she's doing, her experience pretty much as if she's trying to find a new job. So she puts here, I'm a professional athlete, analyst, intern, undergraduate student researcher, marketing intern. I know, right? What's it? Lexi Hustle is what they call her. And then her education, right? So her education for Stanford University, she's got a bachelor's degree, she's got a master of science degree, and it's in management science and engineering. And I want to share with you that Lexi Ho makes less than $80,000 a year playing basketball in the WNBA. Do you know how much she would make if she were to get a job in management science and engineering with a degree from master's degree from Stanford University? Anyone want to take a guess? It's more than double what she currently makes. So with a job in management and science and engineering, she could be making between $150,000 to $220,000, significantly more than what she makes playing basketball. And yeah, 200K, 100% to be in an office, AC, chilling, not having to deal with people trying to beat you up. And the funny thing about Lexi Ho is that she plays basketball as if she's not successful, she'd be homeless or something. You know what I mean? She doesn't play as if she had this to back on. You know what I mean? Like to fall back on. She plays basketball like, if I don't get this steal, I'm not gonna eat tonight. That's pretty much how she plays, with all the hustle, with the hunger, with kind of like Kawhi Leonard, Dennis Rodman type of player. But because if it was me and I have all this, I'm like, I ain't killing myself for this basketball thing. Like, I can make a lot more chilling, not having to get killed. That's more than chess masters. Yeah, it is. So I just thought, ever since I ran into this LinkedIn page by Lexi Ho, I'm like, at what point? Was it the first year? Was it the second year where she said, yeah, I don't think this is going to work out, so let me just start preparing my post-basketball life career, because I don't think this is gonna work. So, but anyways, I just wanted to share this with you guys. And then yeah, that's for her. And I mean, 5 points per game. This is all because of the minutes. But if we look at per 36 minutes, that's gonna tell us a different story. So per 36 minutes, it's actually 10 points per game. So she played 19, but per 36 is 10 points per game. And I also want to do an interesting exercise where I want to compare Lexi Hall to Kawhi Leonard, because I think I compare Lexi Hall to Kawhi Leonard. So I want to compare Lexi Hall to Kawhi Leonard, but I want to compare her third year with, let's see. I want to compare her third year, this current year, to his rookie year. Let's see. Lexi Hall, third season. And Kawhi's first season. Let's see what we find. And I want to look at per 36 minutes, because ever since I looked at her game, especially once she was inserted into the starting lineup, I saw 2012 Kawhi Leonard. That's pretty much what I saw when I saw her play in that role, because that's exactly the role that Kawhi Leonard had when he was playing with Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. So let's check this out. And not this per game, but per 36 minutes. There you go. Per 36 minutes. I think everyone can see this. Look at the similarities in this. This is actually nuts. So Lexi Hall, 10 points per game. Kawhi Leonard, 12 points per game. Turnover, pretty similar. Blocks, identical. Steals, Kawhi Leonard had more steals than Lexi Hall. Assist, pretty similar. Again, Kawhi Leonard had more rebounds than Lexi Hall, but if you look at offensive rebounds, pretty close. Even the free throw shooting percentage is pretty close. 3-point shooting percentage. Kawhi Leonard had a really great three-point shooting percentage, but Lexi Hall had an insane 3-point shooting percentage. For two, Kawhi was just a better mid-range shooter, but this is all very similar. And then for the per 100 possessions, then we look at the offensive rating and the defensive rating, and then we can see a bunch of the similarities as well. And even the usage percentage is pretty similar. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, this is who I saw, and I think this is who Lexi Hall can really develop to become. She can develop to become Kawhi Leonard. And if that's the case, imagine the Fever with their core three players having similar games to Steph Curry and Caitlin Clark, Nikola Jokic in Aleo Boston, and Kawhi Leonard in Lexi Hall. I mean, what else do you need? That's it. Those three players is gonna be crazy. Oh yeah, Hall is amazing for Caitlin. Hall is really good for Caitlin Clark. But that's who I see. That's why I think this is the core that you want to protect, no matter what. But okay, I just wanted to do that exercise. We can go back to the season. And let's see. Actually, I keep comparing Alyssa Smith to Carmelo Anthony. Let's see if there's any truth to that. I haven't never done this comparison. My chess rating right now on League Chess is about 1480 or something like that. Now, I want to compare her second year to his rookie year. Only second year because I think her second season was really good, her best one, and I'll compare it to his rookie and see. I don't know if there's gonna be any similarities. I just keep seeing these players linked together, and I don't know if that's true, but let's see. And we'll look at per 36 minutes. Oh, man. I'm pretty good at this shit, man. I am pretty good at these comparisons. Look at this shit right here. This is actually amazing. So per 36 minutes, Carmelo Anthony rookie year to Nelissa Smith's second year. Points per game are damn near, only 1 point off. Turnovers about the same. Blocks, Carmelo Anthony just a little bit more. Steals, I guess Carmelo Anthony had more steals. Assists, pretty similar. Rebounds, Nelissa Smith is just a beast on the boards in the women's game. Free throw percentage is pretty similar. Offensive rebounds, it was super similar as well. Even 3-point shooting was similar, right? With Nelissa Smith, Carmelo Anthony at 32%, Nelissa Smith at 28%. They even took the same amount of threes. Like, come on, if you don't think this is nuts and crazy, I don't know. They took the same amount. And they made the same amount. Holy shit. I'm actually surprised by this. Even the offensive rating and defensive rating is similar, because that Carmelo Anthony has tons of negative net ratings, but it's just more significant for Nelissa Smith. But this is all so freaking similar, man. Holy crap. Wow. I didn't know this. I did not know this. Smith or Tyler? Who's Tyler? Which Tyler? But anyways, Nelissa Smith, she's great. As we know, she's a Carmelo Anthony type player. That is crazy that I made that, that thing is for reals. But she just doesn't fit this team and what they're trying to do. So I think that's the main issue. And I think it should be better off with a different team. That's what I'm thinking. So anyway, that's my take on Nelissa Smith. Also with this entire, and I'll show a clip too. Let me see if I can find it. I'll show a clip of so the whole thing with Dejanay Carrington and Nelissa Smith in the playoffs, and how do you, and it was kind of strange to me and a little bit weird to me. It was only weird to me because I had never seen it before. So, I'll always say that, but that's, it can be, it is what it is. It happens, right? It's normal within the WNBA, so that's what it is. But whenever you play against someone who you're that close to in a high, high level NBA game and high stakes NBA game, how do you let your teammates know that, hey, I know that this is my girlfriend on the other team, but right now I'm only focused on winning, and she's not my girlfriend for these 40 minutes. Like, she's the enemy. Let's go out and win this game. How does she say that, right? And I have a clip here from Kobe Bryant as to how Kobe Bryant handled this in the 2008 Olympics.
Fans, the defending world champions.
Okay. I'm gonna show this real quick because this is, and I'm not saying that Nelissa Smith or Dejanay Carrington need to approach this, but they need to do something similar to that to let their teammates know that they mean business, right? So let's check it out.
As the defending world champions, we're both undefeated, and this is a game everybody was waiting to see.
¿Y de tu relación con Paul, your Paul's relationship?
We're like brothers. I mean, we're very, very close, and I'm very happy for him that he's playing well. Yeah, I mean, we're very, very tight, so it's a little tough to compete against him.
Right before the game, Kobe came to see me when they came to visit the village. I remember that very clearly and vividly. My big brother came to see me with my teammates, which everyone was like, whoa, Kobe's in our apartment, how cool. And I believe, that might have been part of his strategy to kind of soften me up.
Now it's time for the United States to battle what many feel is their toughest foe in these Olympic Games, Spain. Both teams come in 3-0. They're the two best teams. They're the two gold medal hopefuls.
Kobe said he gonna set the tone to start the game. And he said, I'm running through Paul's fucking chest.
First play of the game, I'm running through Paul Gasol. We was like, what?
Man, you tripping. Like, that's your teammate, you tripping. You ain't about to do that.
He said, first play of the game, I know what they're gonna run, and he knew Powell's gonna be the last screen. And he said, I'm running through that motherfucker.
I swear, the first play of the game. We was like, holy shit.
He just went right to the middle of my chest, tried to get right through me to send a message. Not just to me, but to his teammates. Say, hey, this might be my brother. I play with him.
Oh, hang on. Let's see. It's I'll continue right now. More info. Not sure if it knocked it out, but anyways, I mean, we can kind of see here the strategy that that Kobe had, and Kobe was a psycho. I mean, that's the first thing that we have to acknowledge, that he was a psycho, and he was probably the smartest player in NBA history to come through the league, right? I mean, he was just super smart. He understood situations. He understood mindsets. He understood so many different things about basketball, the game, how other people perceived him. So I think in this situation, he thought maybe his teammates were like, oh man, we're about to play against your brother. Like, I don't know. Are you going to be focused? Are you going to want to like rip his heart out? Like what is it? And he took it upon himself to say, okay, I'll let you guys know what I think about this game and where Pau Gasol stands for these 48 minutes. So let's see if we can show a little bit more of it.
We're close, but I don't care about anything else but winning.
I'm right there in front of the men's like, bow. Ooh. Yo. And he was just like, no, he ain't my teammate right now. Fuck him, get up. I'm like, I love this energy. This is what we need.
There's Carmelo. Yeah, Kobe's the GOAT 100%. We were just talking about you, Carmelo. I'm sorry I compare you to Nelissa Smith. But you're a Hall of Famer. You're good. You did your thing.
We was like, he did that to his teammate. Oh my God. We was like, oh, ain't no way we losing this game. We about to beat the shit out of Spain.
See, so that was how the teammates took it, right? That was the message that they received by Kobe doing this. They were like, oh, okay, yeah, we're about to win this because we have someone who, that individual being on the other team does not affect Kobe at all. So, yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. And, not saying that needs to happen moving forward, because I know there's a lot more situations like that where you have significant others playing opposite teams, and that's not what you have to do. But I think you still have to tell or let your teammates know in some sort of way that you care more about winning during these 40 minutes than you do about your relationship with the person on the other side. Okay, so we talked about Nelissa Smith a little bit. I'll leave Caitlin Clark for the end. Kelsey Mitchell, again, she had, and I compare her to Kyrie Irving. Let's see. She had a great year. And I don't know. I mean, Kyrie Irving, I don't know what was his. I can compare her to Kyrie Irving's last season, I think. But even though that's not Kyrie Irving's best year, where do I compare? What is this? Oh, I think they have similar games. Uh, you can't compare career by career. You have to show both of their last years. So Kelsey Mitchell, 7th season to Kyrie Irving's 13th season. And we can look at per 36 numbers as well. Um, kind of similar. 26.4, 21.6. Turnovers about the same. Blocks. Irving has more. Steals, just a little bit more. Irving is a little bit more of a distributor than Kelsey Mitchell is more of a shooter. So that's what kind of I missed here with this comparison. But look at these 3-point shooting percentages. And also Kelsey Mitchell is shooting 40%. It's kind of insane as well. Yeah, these are the same player. I did the right comparison. Same shooting percentages, similar free throw percentages, similar 2-point percentages, field goal percentages. Kelsey Mitchell a little bit lower, but yeah, this is it. This is the comparison right here. I'm not sure. Am I still on the line? I received some sort of uh warning, I think. Oh, I see. I see. No, I think it's good. I think I'm still on the line. Okay. Yeah, so I think this is the comparison. Yeah, Kelsey Mitchell had an amazing year. If we look at only her numbers, um, what is this? If we look at only her numbers, get this off the screen. And this is per 36 minutes, Mo. But let's look at the totals. Where is it here? Yeah, she had her best season so far. I mean, not even close. The best scoring year. She even had an MVP vote in there, so she was top 10 in MVP. She was an all-star. Yeah, I mean, overall, this was without a doubt Kelsey Mitchell's best year in the WNBA. So I mean, she's good, and I think if she wants to re-sign, that's great for the Fever. Should do that. But like I said before, I don't think it's vital for her to remain or for her to stay. Tammy Bailey was great. Coming off the bench, she provided so much defense, so much activity, a lot of athleticism, a lot of size. So she was good, but she was not very good on the offensive side. So that's kind of where she clogged the paint, I thought. And I think Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark play much better together when the floor is as spread as possible and you have outside threats all over the place. And Tammy Bailey just didn't provide that. But whatever she didn't provide on that end, then she provided on the defensive end. And then if we go to Dantas, right, that was pretty much the similar thing inverted between Dantas and Bailey. She didn't provide you the things that Bailey provided on the defensive end, but she was able to allow Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston to really play more freely and more effectively, more efficiently on the offensive end because she could spread the floor and she was that lethal from the outside. So I hope they bring her back. I mean, I don't know if you can, and she's 31. She does need to work a little bit on conditioning. She had missed the previous 2 years of basketball, and she just kind of got back. So if she works on a little bit of conditioning, she can come back and be even more effective. Because really, all you need is for her to get a little bit faster, more mobile on the defensive end. I don't really know much. I didn't really see much of Berger, Taylor, or Saxton, so I really can't speak to the three of them and whether or not I think that they should come back. I really don't know. They seem to be good humans and great bench players, but I don't know about their individual motivations, the impact that they want to have individually, so I don't know. Christy Wallace, they tried it. I just don't think she's a very good fit to this team either. So I don't know what her contract looks like. I believe she was signed as a free agent, but I don't think you bring back Christy Wallace. You could tell that the team was just not that good with her on the floor. So, but at least Christy Sides and the coaching staff were able to realize that at some point during the season and then make the proper adjustments. Erica Wheeler, like we said, she was an amazing glue person. A good locker room presence during the entire season. I think if you can bring her back, you bring her back, and in that similar role, I think she can back up both Caitlin Clark and whoever your shooting guard is going to be, so she can provide some solid backup for that. She does play really good defense. She can get stuck to another player if you need it, like for Marina Mabry. I think she did a good job on Marina Mabry during that playoff game. I think she's good, and if they can bring her back, you bring her back. Katie Lou, I think she does have another year. And like I said before, I think she's going to improve and get better during the offseason, improve her conditioning, regain her confidence, and then she's going to start to knock those threes again. Because really, she's more lethal and more useful when she's knocking down threes. But also, because I think her defensive struggles had to do with her mobility and the conditioning. So if she improves that, she can improve, because I think she has good defensive instincts. It's just that she wasn't able to execute for whatever reason during the latter part of the season. But she'll get better and she'll improve. We talked about Lexi Hall. We talked about Alyssa Smith. We talked about Kelsey Mitchell. So now the last two. Aaliyah Boston is a beast. Aaliyah Boston is Nikola Jokic. She's the future. Her and Caitlin Clark are the future of this team, the future of this franchise. They are, mark my words right now, you can bookmark this, you can, whatever it is that you need to do. They're going to be hoisting multiple championships together. I hope that they get to play their entire careers together. They're both 22 years old. They're both so talented. They're both, and the best thing about it is that their game complements each other so much. I think more so than any other duo in the WNBA. There is no other duo that is more scary than this duo right here. This Clark and Boston duo. That's it. This is your future. Well, I'll highlight Lexi Hall too. There you go. This is it. Oh, let me so that you guys can see kind of what I'm looking at over here. These three. Everyone else can come. Everyone else can come and go. And the Fever, you know what I mean? And we will, say for the next next 10 to 12 years, we're gonna see bunch of players come and go. You're gonna see Mitchell, probably, maybe she'll be here for a little bit more, but she'll go. Alyssa Smith will maybe go after this season. In fact, Bentley will. All of these players will come and go. But these three, and look at those ages, that's perfect to maintain 22, 22, 24. This is it. This is your core. This is your three. This is your championship three. They're going to win. They're going to, cement themselves, create legacies, be in the history books for not just the WNBA, but sports as a whole. There are going to be so many documentaries created about these three players. Um, yeah, this is your new Duncan, Parker, Ginobili. This is your three. And I'm just excited to see what the future holds for Clark Boston Hall. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say other than I'm extremely high on these three players. And the future is extremely bright. And this season, this was a, you know, it's amazing. It was amazing to experience the genesis of what these three are going to be and what they're going to become and the legacy that they're going to leave behind and establish. Because a lot of times you don't get to see it from the beginning. Like I was not able to see Michael Jordan in 1984, right? I was not able to see him in 86 and 87 and 88 and 89 as they were building, that team in Chicago. I saw it right when it was formed in 1991. That's when I first started watching basketball. And that team was already solid, right? But I didn't see what it took to get there. But now we get the luxury to see this team, these three players, become the dominant entity in the WNBA and in sports as a whole. So 2024 Indiana Fever season is going to go down as a very memorable season and the beginning of great things to come. And I just can't wait to continue to cover, to continue to follow, to continue to support the team, but especially these three players. As long as they stay together, because I'm supporting the number one player that I support, of course, is Caitlin Clark. So if the Fever mess this up and allow one of these, either Boston or Hull, to walk away, then that'd be a huge mistake. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this season. I had never watched women's basketball before. I had never not more than maybe 5 minutes by accident. And I watched almost every single game this year deliberately. Like I meant to do that. I was waking up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning to watch these games. Like I don't wake up that early to do anything else. Like I hate waking up early in the morning. But I was doing that from Japan, in order not to miss these games, because I was that invested into this team and into Caitlin Clark. And it was amazing. I don't regret at all. Even the games that they lost, I don't regret waking up that early to do that, even though I had to go to work right after that and then kind of struggle being tired at work. But it didn't matter. It was all worth it. Yeah, it was great. So let's we got that out the way. We can talk about maybe some other random stuff while I try to get some revenge here on the chest. But that covers all of the players. That covers pretty much my recap of the 2024 Indiana Fever season. So if there's any questions or if there's anything that you want to talk about, we can do that. I'm just gonna beat this person here real quick so that I don't leave with a loss, because that's the worst thing you can do. And yeah, but it was great. Oh, person has bad intentions. Let's go. Okay, so we're gonna go. Yeah, we're gonna go right here. E4, and then he's gonna do that, and I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go here if he doesn't move the queen. Oh, I threatened everything. What are you taking? Are you taking? What is this? Oh, I see. Okay, we're about to sacrifice this queen. Y'all ready? And then I'm gonna go here to try to get that rook. That rook is trapped. I hope he doesn't move that knight. Don't move your knight because I want your rook. Oh, never mind. Oh, yeah, see? Boo. I'm taking that bishop next, and then I'm gonna have the bishop pair. Yeah. Bad move. Take the knight. Go ahead, take the knight. Go ahead, take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. Come on, what are you waiting for? There we go, give me that bishop. Give me the bishop. Let's do it. And now we do this. Only one place to go. And checkmate. No, ooh, I forgot about that. Never mind. Checkmate now, I think, if I go here. Yep. Ooh. Man, no, I'm not giving you a rematch, man. I won this match. This is how we're gonna go. This is how we're gonna close this live stream with me checkmating this person. Again, thank you so much for watching. I think I gained 2 subscribers. So if you enjoy content like this, I try to mix chess and basketball, and maybe I'll play some 2K. If we miss the Indiana Fever games that much, I can play some 2K25 and play with the Fever and finish the season and win the actual title, but you know, fake title, but doesn't matter. But yeah, if you enjoy this type of content and analysis, if you like this went a little bit long, but I think it was good to kind of recap and celebrate the 2024 Indiana Fever season. So, you know, please don't forget to like the video. And if you like this content, don't forget to subscribe. We gained 2 subscribers today, so I'm happy about that. I'm glad about that. So we'll just continue to grow and continue to cover sports and the Indiana Fever. I will be also covering, potentially, I'll be covering the Shohei Ohtani, the Dodgers in the playoffs. So now that they're going to be in the playoffs and Ohtani's going to be in the playoffs for the first time, I'll be covering that. I'm going to be doing some baseball videos as well. And when the NBA season starts, I do plan to cover LeBron James and Bronny James, because I find that whole dynamic interesting. So if you also like and would like to see some of that, please don't forget to subscribe. So again, if you stuck around this whole time and you hung out with me during this live stream, even if you were in the chat or not, I appreciate you. But I do want to thank Rasmik Yakyazarian for his comment. I want to thank Roly Roll for his comment, and David Kloss for interacting with me throughout the live stream as well. So again, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for the support. And I hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you next time.